have the pleasure of being with Marco Pasqua. We know each other since a few years. He's a motivational speaker. He created awesome thing that I want you guys to discover today. So thank you, Marco, for being here today.
Thank you. Yeah, really happy to be here. I've known you for, as you said, a long time, and really happy to see that even regardless that we're going through this, COVID thing, that everyone's able to find different motivations for, keeping our spirits up and
Yeah,
continuing to push forward.
definitely. And you're doing amazing, and I'm really
Well, thank
looking
you.
up to you, and you're very inspirational. And since we know each other since the Active Living Alliance. It's an
That's right.
exchange, yeah, in Ottawa that we did. So it was great. You did as a participant and then as an instructor.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, that was one of the coolest programs I've ever been a part of, and
Yeah.
and I truly mean that. I wish that it could still exist in the capacity that it used to, because
Yeah.
I think that the physical literacy that it teaches kids with disabilities and teens with disabilities about what they're capable of is really, really important. And it was like truly an honor to go out there, meet some of these kids, meet you, as well as, I shouldn't even call them kids because some of them are young
Oh,
adults that are
true.
getting ready, going into their lives and their careers. I even met my wife through the Active
True.
Living Alliance, so
True.
I owe it I owe it everything, to be honest.
Exactly. No, it
Yeah.
was really amazing to have different people from different background and just come together and just build around that and just learn from each other. I think.
What was your biggest takeaway from that? Not to flip the interview around on you, but I mean, I know physical fitness is something that's super important to you as well, and I know that you're actively involved in getting out there and getting active in your community. So, like, what was the biggest takeaway for you with ALA?
Well, I think it gave me tools and just I think something sparked in my head just to do something, just to inspire people with Zaroule, what I'm doing, just trying to do a little bit of a difference and just get it out there. Just that there's no different, and disability is just in physical way, and there's all things that we can learn from each other and just grow
Hmm.
and just to have a world where it's more easier, I think, for people in wheelchair or with handicap, and just we're just like everybody else, and
People need to learn about, as far as not getting down on your own personal situations. Like, we've all got struggles, we all have challenges that we have to go through, but I think it's how you react to those challenges, because the only thing we can change, we can't change other people's attitudes. The only thing we can change is our own attitude and how we see life and how we approach things.
yeah.
There's no sense in, as they say in English, letting somebody live rent free in your mind. So if you have somebody who is a negative force in your life, and you're constantly thinking about all the negative things that they're making you feel about yourself, they may not even be aware that you're constantly thinking about that negativity. So I
Yeah.
always say to people, don't let people live rent free in your mind, and let them cloud your judgment or your thoughts about
So
what you're
true.
capable of.
So true that we're all capable of doing things, and it's just we adapt, we change. We might not be able to do everything, but we just adapt and adjust, and
Absolutely.
and that's what I
Hmm.
think that you did with your background, your work background. You were in tech industry, I think, before with
That's right.
the
Yeah.
start.
So I started out in the tech industry. I got a degree in video game design, and I thought it was a good industry for me to get started in because I've always loved technology. But also, I was noticing a trend, or at least a gap, that there wasn't a lot of focus on accessibility in gaming. And I thought to myself, what better way to create characters and worlds of people who have endless amounts of abilities? Because
Mhm.
in the video game world, if you can imagine it, you can program it or you could create it. And
Yeah,
so I thought, what a way to create worlds that have, capabilities further or greater than we even have here. And that, I guess, was my initial inspiration as far as a career.
hmm
But one thing led to another, and much like we're going through with COVID right now, In 2010, it started in 2008, actually, the recession. But in 2010, the technology industry really felt it. And unfortunately, that's when I was laid off in the 2010 recession.
Yeah.
But that was awesome. If you've listened to a number of my interviews, and by the way, thank you, because you do come to a lot of my events. I'm very aware of the people that are there, and you're always an awesome cheerleader. So I very much appreciate it. But so you know that was actually the biggest opportunity for me to look at other ways to make an impact. And I think that I have a far greater opportunity to make an impact as a speaker than I ever did in the gaming industry. So I just took a chance. I started my business in 2010, and I've tried my best not to look back, and I've loved every second of it. It's been challenging, and I would be lying if I said it wasn't. If I said it was easy. It wasn't easy in the beginning, but like any good thing, like what you're doing with your project, you have to start somewhere. And most importantly, you have to believe in yourself first. So I knew nothing about running a business, but I've been learning as I go. And it's been really cool to start to develop an awesome community of people around me who understand my message of positivity.
Exactly.
Challenging part to do with COVID. I know you know that I'm an extrovert, and so to be just doing events virtually right now is really difficult for somebody like me, because I feed off of other people's energy. So if somebody's happy, if somebody's feeling emotional, like I love those moments, because when I'm on stage, I don't really script what I'm going to say. I know the types of stories that I'm going to tell, and I know the outcomes that the client is looking for as far as what they want the audience to walk away with. But in between that, I don't know word for word how I'm going to get from point A to point Z type of thing, right? And I think that that's important, because my message is one of making sure people are authentic and remaining authentic. Right. And I think that if you go too much by the book, and it's different for every speaker out there. Some people like to go prescriptive off of one script, and they just do that thing. But for me, that doesn't work. I get too hung up on the words, and I would rather just take people on a little bit of a story or a journey with me.
Totally. Because by heart, even with the videos, when I do it, it's like just to learn by heart. It's less, and it's not authentic. Like you said, it's not coming out right. And
speaking with emotion in whatever project you're doing has never failed me, right? So if somebody says, how do you feel about not-for-profits that support children with disabilities? Well, I don't need to write down a script on how that is. I can just start talking. However, that doesn't work for everybody, and I completely respect that everybody has different talents and different skills. And it was actually thanks to being exposed to a lot of not-for-profits that supported me, much like I'm sure like yourself, there were a lot of organizations in your community or around the country that if my family didn't know about them, I wouldn't have been exposed to some of the great things that I've experienced. And as a result, I want to do that in my business. I want to help to not only change people's attitudes, but show people what is possible and what programs and services are available.
Business is like all around for like speaking, but you have different aspect, and just to really give tools to people.
Yeah, exactly. Not everybody's always looking for an accessibility consultant, but sometimes they want to learn how to develop stronger social network or a stronger connection. I often say that people are too reliant now on our technology and around their social media accounts, and developing these false sort of avatars of themselves. We're all guilty of it, right? Sometimes we find we only share the most perfect moments, but as you know, that's not the reality of every moment of our life. Like, not every moment is perfect. And so I often encourage people that I meet with, whether I'm on stage or I'm doing one-on-one mentorship or anything like this, to learn to get vulnerable with your audience, get vulnerable with the people who are around you. You might be going through things emotionally or internally that they're not even aware of it. But the strongest connections, the strongest groups I've ever met with are the ones that actually fully allow you to be yourself. And it sounds like a novel concept. People go, Oh, wow. I never even thought of that. Like authentic connections. Wow. Almost as though it's like some magic trick. And
It's like,
there's
no.
no magic to it. It's just being real, being
Yeah.
yourself. But we're so numb in society to what that even means today because people, they're just so used to being able to put up facades. And I'm trying to
Yeah.
be old school and break down some of those barriers so that people
Hmm.
can rediscover who
Yeah.
they legitimately are. And that's the whole basis behind my I guess you call it a system, although I hate calling it that because makes it seem like it's a package deal
Yeah.
of the cube principle, right?
Mhm.
Creatively utilize your best energy. That's my way of describing utilizing your network of friends, family members, loved ones, colleagues to find common goals or strengths and interests, and the things that you're maybe not the strongest at, how can you utilize the strengths of the people in your network to fill
Mhm.
in those gaps for you and to support you to accomplish a goal? Like, not everybody is good at everything, but the strongest leaders are the ones that recognize maybe where they're missing some elements and where
Mhm.
someone else can come in and provide some feedback or some support to accomplish your goals. And ultimately, I can say that I haven't built up my business to be successful just on my own. It's taken
Mhm.
an army. It's taken a strong group of people, like the support of my wife, the support of
Yeah.
my sister, my mom, my dad, my friends, to get me to where
And
I am today.
yeah, and it's not like from one day to another. It took a long time, and it's hard work for sure to get where you are. And it's been a lot of experience, I'm sure, through the years, and takes a
It
long
ha-
time to build a.
it had yeah, it has absolutely. Like, what about yourself? To relate it back to you, how
Yeah.
with with this project specifically, how what is it that you want to accomplish, and what kind of things have you discovered early on that potentially were almost potential setbacks, but you realized that you were able to kind of push past them? I'm curious.
Well, at first it was, well, for regarding activities, I wanted to show what was possible, even with a handicap, with activities. Like I started camping, the first video. That's where it started, and just want to show, yeah, the possibilities. But I want to show, like, also I'm like wanted to show the challenges, but in a good way, and just really think the YouTube channel is one project, but I might have like a project of book or ebook or even speaker. I don't know. I would have to, yeah, I would really like to grow further.
I would totally encourage you to do that. You know, if there's anything
Yeah.
that I've learned, it's that if you present a story in one medium, say a blog
Mhm.
post, that blog post can be expanded into a 15 or 30-minute keynote presentation because the same bullet points that you're writing out in that blog, you can expand upon those things in telling a story. It's all authentic storytelling, in my opinion. It's like, I think since I got laid off in the game industry, which was 2010. So, I mean, I didn't start my business right away in the layoff. I did try to
Mhm.
get back into the game industry for a little while. Then I had to take the time to learn how to actually run a business.
Yeah.
So I didn't officially launch my business until 2012. But I mean, literally, we're at 9 years now, right? So
Really?
it's
Wow.
a long
Okay.
time. And the first year was probably the toughest year,
Yeah.
just because you got to get your name out there. People have to know who you are, what you're doing.
Yeah.
But after that, it was
It
good.
was, yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, the first start, I think once you started, it's the word, and you just yeah, you keep growing, and that's amazing. And you have
Yeah.
any future project or things like that once COVID is over, or do you have?
I was supposed to be going to an event in San Francisco in October, but
Okay.
we've now made it virtual, which is like a technology event that highlights technology and innovations for people with disabilities and how it intersects with the healthcare industry. So that's kind of cool. So that's in October. But other than that, I'm going to continue to do virtual presentations,
Yeah.
mentorship sessions. And the one positive thing I think that we found through the pandemic actually is that you're able to do more work remotely, which I'm sure you've noticed that as well. Being able to connect
Yeah.
with people on calls like this, doing things through
So
Zoom and
yeah.
stuff, it's been really, really cool.
Yeah.
So
Oh yes, definitely. It's a new way of that we've discovered that we can still keep in touch, and yeah, Just amazing.
Well, and people with disabilities have only been asking for it forever.
Yeah,
And it only took a worldwide pandemic for everybody to care about it. But that's okay. At least it's progress, right? We're moving in the right direction. So
yeah,
although that part of things is a positive, I also don't want to lose who we are as people. And I want to stress to people, don't be afraid of hugging someone. Don't be afraid of physically connecting with someone after all this. I know that it's
yeah,
been traumatizing,
yeah,
but as human beings, we're hardwired to make real connections with people. And I
yeah.
don't want to lose that. I really want people to find a happy medium between doing things online and doing things in person.
What advice or what was your motivation, I guess, with your business, and what you want people to just to remember?
That's a tough question. And I would say if you're out there to build your own business, whether that's speaking or anything else,
Mhm.
ask yourself before you get started if you have what it takes to deal with change and adaptability. If anything, I think COVID or having a disability kind of prepared me
Yeah.
for knowing the ropes of how to be an entrepreneur, because starting your own initiative isn't for everybody. And there's nothing to be afraid of that. Like, if that's not your thing and you would rather work for someone else and collect a paycheck and come home and relax after a hard day's work, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you are somebody who likes to do something different, who wants to be your own boss, who likes to carve out your own schedule, then maybe entrepreneurship is an option for you. And so I would have a long, hard sit down with yourself and conversation with yourself before you start any new venture and
Mhm.
say, do I have the energy to see
Yeah.
this all the way through to the end?
Yeah.
Because it's not always going to be easy. It's not massive paydays. I'll tell you what, if I would have sold out a long time ago and just did this to sell t-shirts and sell whatever,
Yeah.
I could have made a lot of money, and I could have done the things that I saw that was working for other
Mhm.
people who were maybe not as authentic as myself.
Yeah.
But I decided to do
Mhm.
the long
Um,
plan,
yeah.
of doing it my own way, but doing it in a way that I feel people really connect with the message. And that's what worked for me. And yeah, I'm in no way a millionaire or, any of
Yeah,
these
no.
things, but at least I'm doing it my own way and I'm able to set my own schedule and do my own thing. I mean,
Yeah.
different strategies are going to work for different people, but that
Yeah.
would be my biggest takeaway or walkaway for everyone is whether it's for your business or your personal life, before you dive into any new exciting adventure or opportunity,
Mhm.
ask yourself what your ultimate goal is in accomplishing that new journey or that new
Yeah.
adventure.
Yeah.
And do you have what it takes to see it all the way through?
To just see the end.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you very much, Marco. It was amazing to have you, and just yeah, just great to have yeah, an amazing journey, and what you've accomplished. So it's
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And if anyone wants to learn more about what
yeah,
I'm doing, they can go to my website,
yeah,
marcopasqua.com. It's pretty easy. It's just my name.com. And yeah, I'd love to connect with anybody who's interested in learning more. But also I want to encourage you to connect with Isabel and everything that she's doing. I mean, obviously, if they're your audience, then they're the ones watching this, but they should really dig into more of your story and your why and why it is that you're doing this. I think that it's truly incredible, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, that you want to share your story. Not everybody is willing to get vulnerable like that, and I
mm,
think that that's really awesome. And I look forward to the day that you're able to get back out there to the gym and
yeah.
get your CrossFit started again, because they're missing out on a true athlete by you not being able to be out there and doing your thing.
Thank you. And then I'll just link below all your website and everything to discover more. Marco is amazing, and yeah, and we'll sure connect for sure. And hopefully one day I can go to BC and come see you guys.
You're always welcome. We have a brand new sofa bed that pulls out in our den, so there is a place to sleep. So no problem at all. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. So thank you very much, and till next time. Bye.
Bye bye.